color is
versus beige.
The sun's shining right on it, and the different kind of film can make the same damn thing look different colors.
By the time they saw him, he didn't have the jacket on.
He already had the jacket off.
Yeah. But it's like, why plant that? Why even bother?
Pretty good, so you know they are too.
That's just gilding the lily, you know?
It's only 1 block to the Texaco.
That's an extremely typical thing suspects will do in flight is try to change their appearance and get rid of clothing. Happens all the time.
Absolutely.
I've chased guys and I'd find like a hoodie that they left. All the time.
I'm from Toronto. A couple years ago, there was the G7 summit in Toronto, and there was a riot in the city. And there was that group, they call them the Black Bloc. They're like anti-capitalist anarchist group, and they just go stir shit up, throw shit through windows and whatnot. And somebody caught them on tape. They would destroy property, and then they'd run around the corner, drop their backpack, and in their backpack they had another set of clothes. And they'd quickly, in like a storefront, swap out their shirts, swap out their hoodies. They call them the Black Bloc because they dressed head to toe in black while they commit the crimes, and then they go around the corner and change and calmly just walk away. But in this particular case, somebody was there and actually caught them on tape doing that. So that is a very common thing. It happens all the time.
It's too bad that camera wasn't.
Yeah, it's too bad that camera wasn't there in 1963.
So Bill Smith and Jimmy Burt, they look down the alley. They see the man that they saw. He's blocked down in the alley, and which puts him behind the Texaco station. So anyway, Oswald continues down.
Okay, and that's how far down is that?
It's only 1 block.
Okay, but
A couple hundred feet. Yeah.
why is
They
he
saw it.
here and not continuing?
What's that?
Why is he seen here and not on his way there?
Some have said he cut through here.
Yeah, well, hold on. So Helen Markham said he cut, later in life, said he cut through the alley. Now, Helen Markham was best friends with Bill Smith. Jimmy Burt and Bill Smith over here. Helen Markham's son, was best friends with Bill Smith. So, they...
Well, how do you find that out?
I'm just reading over the years.
Okay, if he's heading to
You can Google it. What I tell you is true, though. You can Google it. Helen Markham's son, I don't know what his first name was, but he was friends with Bill Smith.
No, I've heard that.
Yeah, so
if
Mark...
he's headed to a theater, why is he
He's not
stopping to come and walk
because he doesn't know he's heading to.
Yeah, we know that in hindsight, but at the time he's just trying to get out of here, you know?
But
He's just trying to get away.
For you guys just to understand that Jimmy Burt and Bill Smith saw the killer down the alley. See that pickup truck? Another 50 yards this way is where the block ends. You can see the truck go through the intersection here in just a second.
Oh yeah, right where that yellow hydro pole is, yeah.
Oswald went down.
Well, yeah, and that's the next point. So come on down here to the corner, guys. And now we're going to talk about Warren Reynolds, who you brought up a second ago about the guy that got shot in the head later. Yeah.
Because that was supposedly an attempt on his life because of what he went right.
Yeah. I'll address that too.
They can get to JFK, but they can't get to that guy. Did Warren Reynolds roll around with a crew of dudes with automatic weapons? I mean, JFK did. They still got to him, no problem.
So in 1963, this building on the corner right here was the Johnny Reynolds Motor Company. Okay, it wasn't this building. It was just a smaller. It was a car. And L.M. Lewis, Harold Russell, Pat Patterson, and Warren Reynolds were here. They all four hear the shots from up the street. Okay, they look up Patton, and all four of the men describe the killer running down the street with the revolver in his hand, and they said he was either reloading it or loading it. We're not sure what, every one of them said, don't know if he's loading it or reloading it, but he was fumbling with the revolver as he was running down Patton. Now this is why he didn't cut through the alley up here, okay? So every one of them described the killer getting the revolver loaded, closing the cylinder, putting it in his waistband, and then stopped running and walk as he turned the corner. He stopped running and started to walk immediately upon reaching the corner, started walking west on Jefferson. What's that? Yeah. So anyway, you have Warren Reynolds. Yeah. And we're gonna walk right past him. So now the first guy over here, Lewis, he goes inside and calls the police right away. He goes into the office and calls the police. And then after Lewis, while he's doing that, Harold Russell runs up Patton to see what happened up here, and he was actually on the scene when the police arrived. Warren Reynolds and Pat Patterson, they say, hey, let's follow the guy. What's going on here? We saw him running with a gun, we hear shots, let's just see what's going on. So Oswald's going this way, they start following from a half block behind, Warren Reynolds and Pat Patterson, okay? So Oswald's now going this way, this is about, as he turns the corner, this is when Bill Smith and Jimmy Burt now look down the alley, or they're actually up there with Tippit right now, but as Oswald gets down here to the Blue Texaco, that's when they start to push the alley. See him in the back of the alley. We're going to walk back through the alley. So Warren Reynolds, and this is also where Warren Reynolds got shot in the head, was in the basement of the building that night. However, let me tell you that.
That was a robbery, wasn't it?
He was shot, like say January 22nd of '64, January 23rd, whatever the date was. For argument, let's say it was January 22nd. On January 21st, the day before he was shot in the head, he signed an FBI statement saying that I feel like the guy was Oswald, but I'm not confident enough to make a positive identification for sure. But he actually said, I feel like the guy was Oswald. You can read his police report that he gave to the FBI. It was the next day that he was shot. It was literally the next day. When he was, so he'd already said he felt like he was Oswald. Like conspiracy theorists will tell you, he only said it was Oswald after he was shot. He gave an FBI. Look at the facts. You can Google it.
Already, yeah.
Google the date he was shot. Look at his FBI statement. The day before he was shot, he said, "I feel like it was Oswald, but I can't quite make the positive identification for sure." So Warren Reynolds and Pat Patterson. Now here's another thing too. Here's what they ignore. Pat Patterson was step for step with Warren Reynolds, following this guy. So take Warren Reynolds out of the equation. Pat Patterson still said the guy was Oswald. He didn't get shot in the head. He saw the same. He was following the same person his buddy was. They both were following the same guy. So Patterson says it was Oswald. So you can take Warren Reynolds out of the equation if you want to. But it's still Oswald. You see what I'm saying?
Well, like, why kill that one guy but not the half a dozen other eyewitnesses?
Who was running with Warren Reynolds?
Or Helen Markham or Scoggins or any of those people, you know?
Okay, buddy. Okay. We're going
Right over here. We're going to come back to the alley.
I got to use the bathroom, so.
Okay.
Okay.
So now Oswald's going this way, and you got Warren Reynolds and Pat Patterson. They're following him from the half a block away. Obviously, he's got a gun. They don't want to get too close. In the meantime, the police are called by Lewis inside the building here. Coincidentally, for the Dudley Hughes funeral home, the ambulance left right here and was on scene like in 80 seconds. After being called.
Right. Yeah.
So Ted
just
Calloway,
around the corner.
Ted Calloway went up the street after the killer passed him, helped the ambulance, Eddie Kinsley, the ambulance driver, they helped him load him into the ambulance and they took off before the police even showed up. Tippit was gone before the police got there.
To Methodist.
What's that?
Methodist.
Yeah, Methodist Hospital, exactly, right up on Beckley. So now you got Oswald going this way, that's after turning the corner back here. You got Patterson and Warren Reynolds are following him from over here.
I wonder if he knew they were following.
Yeah, that's a good question. Nobody ever, obviously Oswald was killed in 2 days, so
Yeah.
could have a zillion more questions.
He might not have ever told them anything anyway, you know?
It's going to be archived on that camera right now. It's going to go back far enough.
Was this building even here in those days?
That one was.
Yeah, so this fence, Oswald cuts through here. This was the Blue Texaco station right here in 1963. Now, Robert Brock was
Same building, right?
Same building, yeah. Yep. So Robert Brock was an employee here, and Mary Brock was his wife, and she just happened to be there. So the guy goes by in the building, Warren Reynolds and Pat Patterson come over, and they see Mary Brock out here. They say, hey, did you see a guy go by wearing a jacket? We think he was involved in the shooting. She said, yeah, he just rushed past, he went behind the building. So she gave, in a statement, she never testified, but in a statement to the FBI, she said the man was Oswald that rushed past her. So there's another Oswald positive
I didn't know
identification.
that.
Yeah, Mary Brock.
Yeah.
Now, Robert Brock was also interviewed by the FBI. He said he didn't see the guy well enough to say one way or the other who he was. He didn't say it wasn't Oswald. He just didn't say it was.
confirm it.
So he emerged here and gets on the
Actually, nobody knows. He could have went down the alley. Nobody knows how he got to the Hardy Shoe store. What round he took. Who knows?
You know what? If I'm a suspect, I might stay in the alleys for a little while before I come back out.
Well, so listen to this. So Oswald disappears behind here. And I say Oswald because Warren Reynolds, Pat Patterson, and Mary Brock said it was Oswald. That's why I'm saying it was Oswald. So
I have no problem with that at all.
Gotcha.
So, real quick, Bill, if he would have continued, Smith would have
Smith Burt didn't stand there and watch. They saw him. They said, Bill Smith literally said to Dale Myers, he had a gun we didn't.
Yep.
We didn't follow. He had a gun we didn't. Besides that, they saw the shooting. They saw Bill Smith saw Tippit's body drop to the street. Okay, they were out in the front yard. So now I don't know where the car was, where the jacket was found. It was in this parking lot back here. I couldn't tell you where the car was.
Worst pictures, we just didn't study them.
there's no pictures far enough back to give you a perception of where the car is in the lot. But the car's found, the jacket's found underneath one of these cars here.
Blowing in the wind.
Yeah, when the cops hold it up, yeah. So now Oswald is back here and he does not have his jacket anymore. It's this alley right here, guys. Now there's no fence back here in 63. This wasn't fenced off. So Oswald, the Abundant Life Temple, you guys heard of the Abundant Life Temple?
Yeah, I have heard of that.
Yeah. That's on the other side of the alley right here where the baseball field is. I think the baseball field. The Abundant Life Temple sat right here. Okay. Now, back there's the street. You can see the street clearly from here. That's where we were just standing right there in the street.
Yeah.
So they were at the street right there, and they saw the killer right here. Okay. And so now all of a sudden they go back up. They said he had a gun. We didn't. They didn't chase anymore. They stopped. They actually went back up to 10th and Patton to the scene of the Tippett's body. Okay.
Where's the furniture store?
The furniture store's over here. It was the antique store, an old antique furniture store right there, broken down building. Abundant Life Temple right here with the front entrance on 10th Street. So the police showed up on the scene. Warren Reynolds is still here. And he's assuring the police, hey, I'm telling you guys, he's still in the area. He's still in the area. Don't leave. He's still here somewhere. I know he is. So they searched the antique building here. Don't find him. They searched the Abundant Life. They actually go around the front. There's two old ladies inside there. There's nobody in here. They searched the building, so they can't find Oswald. He may have went back down to Jefferson, may have continued this way. Who knows? Everybody lost sight of him at this point. Jimmy Burt and Bill Smith didn't stay there. They went back up. Okay? So there's no sense in walking anymore. The next stop is the Hardy Shoe Store, and that's too far to go. So we'll drive over there. Okay. Bottom line is, they saw Oswald back here in the alley. And more, again, testimony, it puts Oswald at the same place where the jacket is.
It all ties to him.
There were fibers found, microscopic fibers were found inside one of the sleeves of the jacket. They tested the fibers, they took test fibers, they removed test fibers from the brown shirt Oswald was wearing when he was arrested. Okay? And they had,
Does Joe know that? No, sir.
I don't know if he does or not. I don't know if Freedom knows it. I don't know, maybe they do.
Are they related?
But listen, so they
They're
pulled out,
consistent.
they actually were a match. According to Stumbaugh, the FBI expert, he's the hair fiber analysis expert, he used the word match in his testimony. They were a match. Now all that means is that the fibers in the jacket were the exact same fibers as the fibers taken from the arrest shirt, but they also could have been somebody else's shirt that also may have had the same fibers. It doesn't conclusively say it was Oswald's jacket, but it was a match. It didn't say it wasn't, which was the important part.
Just like the tuft of fibers in the butt of the gun.
Yep.
Same thing. Same thing.
Matches the carpet that the rifle was stored in.
Analysis, they can only get consistency rather than conclusive match.
Yeah.
Well, it all depends on which one you use by the word match. Now, Stumbaugh did not say.
But in court, we would show, well, it does match the shirt that
So the jury can decide. They can how much
you go
weight
ahead.
to give.
Or judge, you decide what you
But
think.
can you conclusively say that these fibers did come from
You
that?
cannot say that.
specific
No.
You cannot say. And Stumbaugh did not try to say
No,
that.
no.
He
Some,
just
some consider
said,
that a match, though.
Yeah.
But also a match could be they match each other. They had
Yeah.
the same exact
Are they still there?
color, twist, and shade. They had the same color. Same
Like my
twist.
cup matches his cup.
But they
Yeah.
have to say,
It really doesn't.
they have to say that they can't say it's his shirt because that
Could-
shirt
exactly.
was 1,000 of those shirts were
The
produced.
important part regarding the fibers is it doesn't
Right.
rule out the shirt.
That's
as being a
right.
shirt
Yeah.
that's in the jacket.
That's right.
It doesn't say these fibers cannot have come from the same
That's the
garment.
important part.
Yeah. I mean, like, fibers, they're not like fingerprints or shell casings, you know. How are you supposed to match them
Did you
definitively?
get what I said, though, about Warren Reynolds' FBI statement a day later he was shot in the head and it doesn't make
Absolutely,
sense?
yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's important.
The timing just throws the whole thing off because they'll go ahead by his later account.
Correlation does not equal
He
causation.
was hesitant to pinpoint it as Oswald, but he never says it wasn't Oswald. Yet some conspiracy theorists will literally tell you Reynolds said the guy wasn't Oswald.
Oh yeah.
He's never said that.
Yeah. Or they'll take a statement that says, you know, I'm not sure, but it looked like it
Yeah.
was Oswald. That turns into it was not Oswald.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Because they want to twist it around and put their spin on it.
Yep.
So he got tracked all the way to Hardy. He got picked up by Brewer.
It's like almost he had eyes on him from the time he shot Tippit to the time he was last seen in the alley. He had eyes on him the entire time like somebody. Then the problem is everybody lost him all at once when he was last seen back here in the alley. Nobody sees him again until Hardy's shoe store. You guys have any questions about any of this from here? At all, or-
It's a small area.
It is, isn't it?
When you
Yeah.
come here and you look at it.
And Oswald-
Yeah.
I got one more. Again,
You be Calloway and put me where Oswald was.
I didn't realize that. All the way, that's the thing, all the way down though. You know, he said I was
Sidewalk or
running
the street?
all the way down like this, all the way down the street, not just one spot, all the way down.
Was he the street or was he the sidewalk?
Where's he past the alley?
Well, Calloway actually said he ran all the way down to the corner. So
Okay, so he's past that.
but he also, Calloway saw him up here too. You're trying to actually go in one spot. Calloway saw him all the way down. Calloway said the closest he got to me, the FBI came out and measured was 56 feet.
Okay.
The closest that Oswald got to Calloway, according to the FBI, they came out and interviewed Calloway. They said, where were you standing? Where was he standing when he was closest to you? And they measured it as 56 feet. So that's 19 yards on a golf course.
Well, the closest would be from here to here to here, and
obviously-
wherever he is, it's
Exactly.
when he's 90 degrees.
Well, I'm thinking past
Right.
now.
But Calloway didn't see him turn. Did he?
Calloway
They
actually
ran back and got the
Yeah,
guy.
Calloway actually did not want him to actually make a turn
Right.
because he went back up there. After he said, "Hey man, what the hell's going on?" Calloway said, he said something to me that I couldn't understand.
Right.
And then he kept on going, so Calloway went up there to see what the hell happened.
Right.
And then you got to transfer Oswald to the new witnesses down here: Reynolds,
Right.
Lewis, Patterson, and Russell.
That's right.
Now Lewis, by the way, the guy that went inside to call the police, he actually told the FBI, I couldn't tell you if it was Oswald or not. I didn't see him well enough. The other three said it was Oswald. So here's what you got. Bottom line, guys, is this: Bill Smith, not Jimmy Bird, but Bill Smith, Ellen Markham, Ted, well, we'll start in order: Barbara Davis, Virginia Davis, William Scoggins, Ted Calloway, Sam Ginyard, Harold Russell, Pat Patterson, Warren Reynolds, and Mary Brock. 11 people that saw Oswald between the police car and the alley that all said it was Oswald. 11 of them. You have Benavides, Bird, Lewis, okay, and Robert Brock. That's 4 people said, can't say it was Oswald, but I'm not saying it wasn't Oswald.
Right.
But I can't say it was. So there you have it. So at 11 and 4, 11 yeses, 4 indifferent, 0 no's.
0 no.
No,
Yep.
Not one of them out of the 15 people I just told you about said it was not Oswald.
I think this is
And
how
that's
some somewhat reasonable CTs they'll admit that Oswald killed Tippit because the witnesses are just overwhelming.
Between you and I, whenever I'm talking with a CT about the Kennedy assassination, if they